Hi, how are you? This is Anthony from Cypher House Escape, back with another puzzle from the Red Dot Hunt. Today we're doing case number 6, the Network Affair. So let's jump right into the puzzle and see what we have in store for us this time. You must find the key to each layer of security if you want to solve this case. Click on all images with a statue until there are none left. Okay, so this looks a lot like a CAPTCHA style puzzle, which is interesting because I haven't seen one of those before. Essentially, a CAPTCHA is a puzzle just like this that is meant to determine if a person is a real person or if it's some computer bot just trying to complete the task. And so they give you a task like find all the statues, and they expect you to click on all of those images. So since this is a puzzle, I could just start by clicking on all the statued images and seeing what happens next, but rarely are things in puzzle hunts just a small, meaningless task that you have to complete and then move on. Likely, there's going to be some code involved that's going to use all my answers to the CAPTCHAs at the end. So I'm going to open something up to start recording how many times I press each of these buttons, and then we can try to figure that out later on. So on the main site we have a group of 3x3 images, and so I've made a PowerPoint here where I'm going to fill in how many times I have to press each of the images, because I assume after I press an image, that image will change and it could be another statue that I have to click on again, or it might not. So these 3 at the top don't have any statues in them, and so I'm going to start by filling in zeros for the top row, but I have to press all the others at least once. So let's start with this image here. Okay, so I may have been wrong. This isn't quite like an ordinary CAPTCHA. It's more like a different kind of puzzle that I believe they call light up, where essentially every box is either a statue or not. And when I click on a box, it changes whether that box has a statue in it, but it also is going to change the 2 adjacent. So right now, the top left corner has a statue, the one to the right and below it do not. If I click it, that'll all change. This one now doesn't have a statue, but these 2 do. Okay, so let's try to solve this puzzle now that we have that in mind. Okay, I think I got the pattern here. So if I click on this corner and then click these 2 directly above to get rid of those 2 statues, and then click these 2 directly above to get rid of those ones, I've effectively changed the top row here, which used to go statue, no statue, statue, and now looks like this. So starting in the right corner and then just eliminating all the statues upwards till we get to the top row switches the left 2 cells. So if I do the exact same thing with the bottom left corner and work my way up, I should switch these final 2 cells here. So that looks like this. You click this cell, you click the 2 cells above the 2 statues here, and that gets rid of all statues in the bottom row, and now we need to get rid of the statues in this row by clicking the 2 cells right above it. So we'll click here, and we've solved the puzzle. There are no statues now, so we'll click verify. Gotcha. And this says enter the word shown below. Could it be the word late? Not quite right. Oh, it changes it as well. There's a bunch of letters that could go at the beginning of that. Meat? Not quite right. Bet. Nope. Pig. Okay, is there any word this could be besides phone? Gotcha. That's strange. So each layer of security is a different kind of puzzle. Enter both words separated by a space. This is the ideal gas constant, R, divided by Avogadro's number. If my thermodynamics serves me correctly, I believe that's the Boltzmann constant. So Boltzmann gas? Gotcha. Enter the solution to the math formula. 31 What? Is that really not correct? 8 plus 23 is 31. 2b minus 3. Well, B is the second letter of the alphabet, so is that 4 minus 3 is 1? No. Well, this feels almost like guess and check. Like, I don't... Okay, now we're at 3c plus 2. 11 over 3. What if I just enter in the same... No. And I'm guessing this isn't 9. I think I'm just gonna try getting a bunch of these wrong and saving the images and seeing if I can find any kind of pattern. As far as I can tell, these aren't related in any way, so I don't think that the solution is something like taking part of this formula and part of this formula and mixing them together, which was kind of my initial thought. Something else that I've noticed is that they come up kind of random, so I can just... I thought that the equation that came up might depend on what answer I just typed in, but I can just keep typing the number 6 in over and over, and they just kind of keep coming up. I'm starting to wonder if I've missed something on previous pages. This is when you start entering the desperate phase. Okay, so I sat around guessing random numbers for quite a while, just trying to find anything that would stick. I figured the answer would be numbers, and figured that if I tried a few, I would at least start to make some progress, and then maybe I could deduce the mechanic of this puzzle. So I discovered that the answers to 3 of the equations by doing this method. But that's as far as my plan goes. I have a few answers now, and I was hoping to see a pattern, but I just don't. I don't really have a clue what's going on here. So maybe we'll get some more information down the line. For now, at least, we're on to the next test, which simply says, I am not a robot, and then it gives Z total choices here. It looks kind of like a self-referential quiz. And the self-referential quiz is one where some of the answers are correct, some are incorrect, and the answers themselves tell you which answers are correct and which are incorrect. It looks like the options are either robot or human, and I'm supposed to click on the humans, but I'm just going to check the robots for now. All non-robots are co-prime to me. All prime letters are robots. So n is 14, which means anything that is a multiple of 7 or 2. I think I've made everybody a robot except for letter O. I think O is the only letter that is not a robot. Yes! Okay. Unlock phone. No. Oh, I see. Okay, so it's going to tell us which of these is correct. So that made a very clear letter W, and the last one made the letter O. I'm starting to believe that each of these puzzles that we solve is giving us a letter somehow. I don't know how we get a letter from the statues yet. Missing letter, which may or may not have always been an N, I'm not sure. And for I am not a robot, the answer was O. And then unlocking the phone, the answer was a W. Let's see.
Android. Android.
I hear Android. That was it. And so that looks like it was the last security level, which means we definitely need to get a letter from all of them. I'm guessing that there's an easy way to get rid of all these statues. What if I try just all of the outside? If I make a letter U here by clicking all these, yeah, that makes all the statues go away. So this gives the letter U for the statue game. For the missing letter, is it always an N lane? Okay, it could always be an N on that one, because we had phone the first time we made it through. Now the physics one, Boltzmann gas. Okay, so many of the physics problems seem to have reference to the Boltzmann constant, which gives us a K, because the Boltzmann constant in physics is represented by the letter K. I don't think the sound came with 2 letters. I think it's probably just an N. And this looks like the answer is unknown, so I'm going to try the answer unknown here. Correct, you are not a robot. Yay! Okay, so taking a look through their answers here, we see that we were right about the statues. The single word CAPTCHA, every single one of them blurred the letter N. The double word CAPTCHA, they all involved different constants that were represented by the letter K. Okay, the math CAPTCHA, noting that only A, B, C, and D appear, and by looking for bases for which the division involving CAPTCHAs gives integer solutions, one can figure out that the arithmetic should be done in base 14. Oh, interesting. That gives the letter N. Some of the formulas are solvable by assuming them to be hexadecimal, or by brute force guessing integers, which is what I did. Now, if you're ever in an actual puzzle hunt and you're racing against the clock and all the other teams to try to finish first, it's actually quite common to obtain several letters of the final answer, kind of like we did in this puzzle, and then to get the final answer by just guessing the other letters. Thanks again to the Red Dot team for coming up with all of the puzzles that I'm doing in this series of videos. I'm having a great time with this series, and I love hearing from viewers about what they like or what they don't like about this format of video. So leave a comment down below if there's anything that you'd like me to know about how I present these puzzles, or if you'd like to see more about my solving techniques as I go through any of them, or if you have any other puzzle types that you'd like to see me cover in future videos. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy escaping!